Hi guys, it's Joey, and today's video is going to be called Morrigan's Call, and I have a number of reasons for doing this video. The first reason is a couple of people have asked me, do you think the Morrigan could be calling me? And the second reason is that she herself in a couple of meditations has kind of sort of pushed this idea and wants this video making, so here I am making it. I should have made it a couple of days ago, but everything was a bit up in the air a couple of days ago with Ostara and etc. So we'll do it now on a nice comfortable Friday where it's quiet and I can make my video. So this video is the Morrigan calling me, basically, and there are some serious issues I need to address which have been bothering me, and yeah, I have no script for this video. I have a spirit power candle down here lit to help her get her words across through me. I get my points, my opinions through, and we'll see where we end up, I guess. So the first point that I absolutely have to stress more than any other point about Morrigan, before we even go into misconceptions and things like that, bad reasons for thinking that the Morrigan might be the goddess for you. Before we go into all of that, the Morrigan calls her daughters. She chooses her daughters. They do not choose her. And this is true of every person who is strong in the path of Morrigan that I have ever met. People who you can tell have a real devotion to the goddess, have followed her path, have become stronger people because of it. You can tell that they were called by her. And she, in my experience, chooses very specific type of people. Now, the first misconception is it might be all women. No. The goddess Morrigan is male and female in balance, and she will call to men and women as she sees fit. So that's the first thing. Just because you're a guy doesn't mean that she wouldn't call to you. Yes, a lot of the pagans that are quite vocal are women, and women that have been empowered and strengthened through their relationship with the Morrigan, but that doesn't mean that it's only women. To go back to that point about she calls you, not the other way around, you cannot pick up and drop the Morrigan like yesterday's trash. It's dishonourable, and she would never call to such a person anyway. Before I discovered, I think discovered is the right word, that my matron goddess was the Morrigan, I had never worked with another goddess ever. I worked with goddess and god in the abstract, and I was comfortable for many, many years doing it that way. And when I eventually came to the realization, I knew that she had been there every single step of the way, helping me, guiding me. When I prayed to Mother, it was her who was talking back. I personally think that if you dedicate yourself to a specific goddess, particularly if you dedicate yourself to the Morrigan, it's a lifelong commitment. It's not something to be thrown off at a moment's notice because it's not the fad of the day. I don't understand if you had a deep connection with a different goddess why you would move on to another goddess anyway. If you have a deep, meaningful, spiritual connection to a certain god and goddess, or a certain pantheon, a certain time, a certain way of performing your path, why you would suddenly up and change to a different one makes zero and no sense to me whatsoever. If you were trying to go down a path and it didn't feel right, and then you veered off, then that's another matter entirely. But this is a personal thing about people's paths, and I can only speak for my own. My own path has been one directional. I have never fragmented all over the place. It has been a one directional path to the Morrigan, to Celtic witchcraft. I have a hard time in visualizing how you would tie in certain paths to the Morrigan, which are so different. You know, if you were following one set of gods and beliefs, then I don't see how you would suddenly hop and pull in the Morrigan, who is so tied up with the Celtic path and predates the Celtic path, which is something else I'm going to discuss later. That doesn't make any sense to me, and if you were thinking of just yoinking the Morrigan into you, yeah, don't bother. It's a very serious commitment to the Morrigan. I don't know about how serious it is to other people's visualizations, other people's paths, other people's deities. I don't know how serious that is because I have never done it. But dedication to the goddess is for life, and dedication to the Morrigan, same. You don't pick her up and drop her. It's just insulting and dishonourable, and the last thing you want to do is to bring dishonour upon yourself in the eyes of the Morrigan. She is what I would call a demanding goddess, and she has every right to be. I dedicated myself to the ways of witchcraft, if you like, of paganism, of the cycles, a long time ago. I still have my dedication, and that to me was a very seriously considered thing. My dedication to the Morrigan is even more serious, and she came and, you know, she'd been judging me, testing me, watching me my entire life, and she brought up every difficult emotional situation I'd ever been through, and we discussed it, and she talked to me, and she told me why she had come to me. And once I dedicated myself to her, that was it, and it's every single full moon and every dark moon. I have a special bond with her then, which I am not permitted to discuss at all. The way that the Morrigan put it to me in when I was meditating last night, and I meditated a couple of nights ago as well on this issue, is she tests people before she even reveals herself. She chooses the person and then she tests them in three ways. The camera's wonky today. A test of study, a test of battle, and a test of faith. And that's before she even appears. Battle can be in two forms. It can be in personal battles of experience, hardship, or some people who are drawn to the Morrigan is because their physical lives are in physical combat, army, police, etc. But personal battle is the one that really resonates, and battle is something I'm going to have to discuss at length. How you cope with, how you move past, how you behave in these situations is of paramount importance to the goddess. If you behave honourably, if you behave with strength, then she is going to see that and praise you for it, and you will feel her call. A test of study is a long, lengthy, intellectual pursuit of knowledge, and not to be like, I've read one book, I know everything. And once you have dedicated yourself, it's a lifetime's worth of study on the Morrigan. And studying the Morrigan is the most difficult goddess to study because everything is vague, everything is in myth, everything is difficult to come by. A lot of people won't talk about her at all. I fully understand and respect that, but she's come to me and told me that her truth needs to be out there. This is why I am doing these videos, because she directly prodded me to do it. Her truth. So the tester study is a life thing. It's reading everything you can get your hands on. It's not just reading, it's interaction with the goddess, it's spiritual work, it's meditation work, it's work with crystals. My altar changes and changes and changes as she guides little things, and sometimes I can see the most profound things in the tiniest aspects of that altar, because it is my relationship with her, and as she directs me and I see something change or something click within me as I'm doing that, it reveals more information to me. I'm learning. And I will learn until I drop off the tree. And if at any point you think you know it all, you might as well stop. You might as well give up, because you have lost the very principle of lifetime's worth of study. You can always be more educated. You can always read more. You can always go find information. You can always go within and without for a better understanding. And a test of faith is completely personal. A test of faith she will do before, and my initial test of faith is that I realised that who she was, and I called to her. I actually called first. I was like, I really feel that I'm now in the place where I am ready and able, in a both physical place, in a spiritual place, and an emotional place, to embrace a matron goddess. Then there were signs, and it was up to me to figure out the signs. That is why when people come to me and say, I've had this, this and this, do you think this? I'm very wary of saying, yes, it's the Morrigan. It could well be, but if they are your signs to interpret, then they're your signs to interpret. And something that she has been saying to me over and over again recently, because I've been very, very worried about a certain situation, certain person, is everybody is given their own path to walk. Everyone is given their own tests. Everyone is given their own battles to fight. And you cannot fight other people's battles for them. I mean, that she sort of says, your concern is beautiful, but it's her decisions, her way of testing people. Put your faith in her, basically. Anyway, those 3 tests are something that she will repeat throughout life. Tests of personal battles, tests of study, and tests of faith. Now, a lot of people seem to think that once they have embraced a goddess such as the Morrigan, their life is going to get easy. Well, if you think that, don't bother. The Morrigan puts difficult situations in our path on purpose to test us. If you want an easy road, forget it. Working with the Morrigan, for me, is one of the most divinely inspiring and joyous and overwhelmingly emotional spiritual journeys possible. And I take issue with people who would pick up and drop the Morrigan. That is not to say the Morrigan doesn't appear to people in their time of most need and may help them through a certain situation and then move away from them because they're not meant to be hers. That happens, and that's her. But once you have dedicated, it's life, and your life will not get easier. It will not get easier. You have to fight every single day to be a better human being, to be a better person, to be a better witch, to honour her, to understand her. And that is the next point. There is a lot of willful misinformation about the Morrigan. A lot. Because of the lack of real detailed knowledge and studies, there is a stereotype of what the Morrigan is, which, you know, you Google pictures of her and a lot of them are bloody, dark, violent. It's death and war. And through this, hang on one second, just telling my gnome I'm recording. Through these images and these stereotypes comes misinformation. People think that she is a feared thing, that she is scary, that she is about death and war, and that's it. And you embrace her to overpower your enemies, to, I don't know. And it's just nonsense. It's absolutely the biggest load of nonsense that there is out there. The Morrigan has her aspects of death and war, and I'm going to make videos on each aspect of the Morrigan in more depth and in more detail, which is why I started with the magic one, because she is, I think of it as being a primal goddess. Her realm is not war. Her realm is not death. Her realm is everything. She predates the Celtic stuff, in my opinion. And they took from her and embraced her and put their own feelings, thoughts, and lifestyle to her. Their lifestyle, battle, death. It's a completely different time, and their myths revolved around things that were most pivotally important to them. There are so many visages of the Morrigan. This is why I work with her in her triple aspect. This is... It's so difficult for me to even get the words across in the right way. She has a multitude of different aspects of her being, and each part of the triple goddess has different aspects to her personality. It's so huge that it's so complicated that you have to willingly humble yourself down and say, I don't understand it all. And that's a really key important thing. You have to be humble if you think the Morrigan is calling to you because you behave dishonorably. You have to treat the goddess with a pure sense of humbleness and honor. I'm her daughter, and I am lucky to be so. A good picture, if you want to Google a good picture, I've got a whole load of pictures on my Facebook album. If you are a friend of mine, go look. Elena Fortuna did a beautiful artwork of the Morrigan, which encapsulates something so much more to her spirit. It's a really good one. Let's go through them. Unfortunately, I don't have names on a lot of them. Well, anyway, it's not up to me to baby feed anybody, so... But the problem with a lot of the pictures is it is this whole dark visage. And they completely ignore that she's deeply connected with sovereignty in the land. That is believed to be older than her battle and war, death facets. She is deeply connected with magic, spirituality, and witchcraft. She is deeply connected with healing. She's deeply connected with water, rivers, and lakes. I could go on because she is connected to everything. And what irritates me more than anything else is this visage of her as death, sex, and battle. Like she's some crazed, sex-crazed, battle-crazed loony. Because this is from the demonization of this goddess by people outside of paganism to belittle her power. So if you go looking for the Morrigan, thinking of her as that, and thinking that that's what you want, you are bringing dishonor upon yourself and upon her. And she won't listen to you. And if she does listen to you, good luck to you. Because you will have insulted her enough. She is more than just these things. So much more. So let's talk about battle. Just moving my power candle. We all good? Yeah, there we go. Personal battles and physical battles are two very distinct ideas that tie into the Morrigan. The Morrigan has a battle aspect, and we do not deny she can be a wrathful goddess of destruction. What people seem to miss is the fact that you need destruction to create life. It's a cycle. It's a part of something huge, a part of a much bigger thing. If you willfully misunderstand the goddess, if you think of her as being like this rather than huge, then you won't find her, and you will not understand. She's not some ferocious pit bull to be set upon your enemies. And that notion of her makes me sad. I think it would probably make her angry, but it makes me sad. She deserves so much more than that. Personal battles. So I don't know very much about physical battles, being that I'm not a soldier. And that aspect of the Morrigan is something that I probably will never fully interact with, because I'm not physically fighting wars. So to that end, I cannot give a full detailed account of what that is like. And nor will I. And I accept that I might never be able to understand that aspect of my goddess. That is fine. As long as I don't go around being like, oh yeah, I totally know. When I don't, then I'm not going to lie. Because honesty and justice are two realms of the goddess held dear. Held dear. Personal battles is something else. Quite often she comes to women who are in need of strengthening and of justice, like I just said. Women who have been through it and have either desperately needing someone to help them, or have overcome it themselves and have proven themselves through those personal battles to be honourable, to uphold their own personal code. People who are not honourable are not going to find the Morrigan, and there are some very dishonourable people in the world. And by dishonourable, I only have my own personal ethical code which I stick to, and it goes like this. I won't lie to people if I can avoid it. Being honest has got me into trouble in the past. People don't like it sometimes, but I will be honest. Having said that, I will not use the truth like a weapon, because that's not truth. It's just nastiness. It's just like, oh, I'm telling you the truth, so you should be thankful. No. No. If you can discuss things with people in such a way where you help them rather than hurt them, then helping them is the honourable path. A warrior's path is not, I'm going to hack your limbs off, I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to throw words at you to injure your heart and soul. No. Shield over heart, blade over shield. I protect those I love. I spread the word. I fight with honour, love, and joy. The Morrigan is my mother, the Morrigan is my goddess, the Morrigan is my guide. Because of the world we're in now. The Celts may have had battle lust, but we do not. We do not have that life anymore, and whilst we can honour our ancestors, we are not them. This is a new age, and the goddess is just as relevant today, in today's setting, in today's moral dilemmas, in today's battles, as she was back then. But she has evolved, and to place her back where she was back then is to willfully misunderstand her. So my personal ethics, I will do my very best not to break. The whole slandering other people, not honourable. Calling people names, not honourable. Willfully going out of your way to hinder somebody, not honourable. Bullying, not honourable. Treating people with disrespect, not honourable. If you can't get on with a person and then walk away from them, you know. And I am not perfect in my morals, in my walking of this path. I make mistakes like every other human being, and when I do it, and quite regularly, I go before my altar and say, if this has brought any dishonour to me, then I beg of your mercy. If I shouldn't have done this, then I'm sorry. I'm human. I've made this mistake. And what I do is to go to my goddess and be human. She's not monstrous. Like some people have this visage of her being it's just an evil visage. It's someone that if you make the slightest mistake will rip your head off, and it's just wrong. She's a mother. She's the sort of mother that is more so, you can do this, get up, you can, I believe in you, rather than, oh poor baby, you'll be fine. She's, you know, she wants to empower you. She wants you to go forth and do it and make her proud and establish your own self-worth. Through that, something else is that every single day I honour and speak to the Morrigan. I give her offerings every single day. I give her a weekly offering, I give her a daily offering, I give her a monthly offering. Every single month I do the dedication, twice now. I live within the cycles, and this is hugely important. If you cannot be bothered to live within the cycles of witchcraft, if you do not honour nature, if you do not honour yourself, if you do not honour the ways of the gods and goddesses anyway, then forget it. Forget it. There is so much of it going about where witchcraft is about spells. It is not about spells. It's living within light and dark in balance. And light and dark isn't good and evil, we're night and day. It's a deeper understanding. I'm a dark witch, I'm a light witch, forget it. It's not truth. It's not balanced, and it's like, what are you expecting to accomplish by saying you are one or the other? The Morrigan is both. And so much of it out there is, she's a dark goddess. And it pees me off. It's like, she's not a dark goddess. She's both. She is nature. She is the goddess. She is everything. She has light aspects. She has dark aspects. The same way she has male and female aspects. The same way she has human and animal aspects. The same way she has night and day aspects. The same way she has a whole multitude of realms in which she has influence, not just war and death. Can you tell this bothers me? So basically, the Morrigan calls to a certain kind of person, be they male or female. They may well have had really horrifically difficult life experiences that they have overcome. They do not feel the need to try and drag pity from other people. So if you're in victim mode, permanent victim mode, if you need people to make you feel better, it's unlikely the Morrigan is going to call to you. If you have overcome your own personal battles and you've got to the point where you can take pride in your actions even. It was a horrific thing for me to have gone through, but I'm glad I came out the other side, and I know I'm better and stronger, and that's the sort of person the Morrigan will call to. She calls to you, not the other way around, so don't think you can pick her up. You can't. And it's insulting to think you can pick her up and drop her like yesterday's trash. I don't think if you have a deep connection with any other goddess that you are going to be able to have a deep connection with the Morrigan, because she is all-consuming. She has her own triple aspect, she has her own male aspect, and she is in everything. So I don't see the need, personally, to have any deep, meaningful relationships with any other goddess. I honour all forms of deity, but I don't have personal, deep relationships with them, because the Morrigan is time-consuming by herself. She is demanding, and rightfully so. So I think that will do. I think that will do. I think I covered everything. Did I cover everything? I think we're good. Okay, so I will consider doing another video in a little while. I have to go do my daily devotion. Many blessings.